The punishment assignment Sarin Fall never wanted to be stuck at forward listening. Post 9. Everyone in the service called it the cave with Wi-Fi, the kind of assignment you got when you really screwed up. And boy, had Sarin screwed up. It started with an accident. One wrong button press, and suddenly every ship in the fleet was blasting the same karaoke song for 47 minutes straight. "I Will Survive" echoed through battle formations, causing complete chaos. Morale somehow went up, but the generals were not amused. So here he was, stationed on asteroid K-29, a moon-sized rock orbiting an even more useless planet called Denzak. His job was simple: monitor space for weird stuff, file reports, and absolutely never interact with anything marked as ancient, sentient, and possibly magical. That last rule existed because of the dragon. Nobody talked about the dragon. Not in reports, not in whispers, not even when drunk. Because officially, it didn't exist. The sensors couldn't detect it, the cameras couldn't see it, but Sarin heard it every single day at exactly 2:03 p.m., a sound like the universe's angriest. Scream coming from the sealed secondary chamber. He'd gotten used to it by now. Just turned up the white noise and logged it as tectonic stress sounds. Easy enough. Then everything changed on a Tuesday when someone crashed into their rock. The ship hit hard, like a meteor with terrible aim. Emergency alarms blared as Sarin scrambled to prepare their tiny visitor suite, which basically meant dusting off a couch and restocking snacks that wouldn't try to eat you back. The survivor was just a girl, maybe 9 or 10 years old, with defiant eyes and a stubborn tilt to her chin. Her name was Koa, and she sat in a sleek black wheelchair with a sticker on the back that read, "If you can read this, you're in." My blast radius. Sarin liked her immediately. Koa didn't speak much at first, just stared like the universe had personally offended her. But on her first day, she said 3 words that made Sarin's blood run cold. "Where's the dragon?" Nobody had told her about the dragon. Nobody ever told anyone about the dragon. The forbiddance meeting on the second day, Koa spoke 5 more words that chilled Sarin to his core. He screams because he remembers. How could she possibly know that? Sarin had been filing those sounds as random noise for months, but somehow this girl understood something deeper was happening. On the 3rd day, Koa vanished. Not just from the medical bay. She was gone from every scan, every corridor, every single monitoring system. Except one place, the forbidden secondary chamber that had been locked since the last war, sealed under 13 layers of bureaucratic red tape and actual chains. Sarin broke 17 regulations just finding her, and 39 more when he decided to watch instead of drag her back. There she was, sitting calmly in her wheelchair, facing something that shouldn't exist. And for the first time, Sarin could see it too. The dragon wasn't the golden, glittering creature of fairy tales. This was a monster of iron scales and battle scars, with wings like the torn sails of dead empires. Its eyes glowed like reactor, cores left burning too long, and when it screamed, it sounded like civilizations falling, like love dying over bad connections. But when the dragon saw Koa, something impossible happened. It stopped screaming and just ... stared. Koa looked back with mild irritation, a kind you'd give a relative who doesn't know how to mute their microphone on a video call. "You're very loud," she said simply. The dragon blinked. Then it did the unthinkable. It whimpered. That moment changed everything. The image got broadcasted across the galaxy. A little girl in a wheelchair, facing down a chained war dragon, both surrounded by a silence thick with meaning. The original news headline. Read, "Paralyzed human girl found chained dragon screaming for help." What happened next shocked everyone. Everyone saw it. Everyone wanted answers. And when the galaxy wants answers, they send a team. Asterisk. The Burrito Accord. The team they sent was exactly what you'd expect from military logic. an overqualified diplomat, an underpaid linguist, a skeptical physicist, and one emotionally unstable private named Lum, who carried a flamethrower everywhere. Their mission was simple: observe, interpret, and de-escalate. They accomplished none of these things. The diplomat tried to negotiate with the dragon using formal protocols. The dragon coughed smoke politely and then completely ignored him. The linguist attempted communication in ancient Draconian, Latin, binary code, and even interpretive jazz. The dragon sneezed, accidentally setting her hair on fire. The physicist insisted the whole thing was an optical illusion, right up until she was slowly transformed into a small obsidian statue. But then Private Lem did something unexpected. He walked up to the massive, terrifying war dragon and offered it a burrito. The dragon accepted it. This became the foundation of the most awkward peace treaty in galactic history, the Burrito Accord. It didn't solve much, but it was the first official recognition that the dragon actually existed. Throughout all the negotiations, Koa just watched quietly, her fingers drumming against her wheelchair like she was scoring some mental opera. She seemed to understand everything that was happening on a level none of the adults could grasp. Then, one night, she told Sarin the truth that changed everything he thought he knew. "His name is Haver," she said matter-of-factly. "He used to be a warship." Sarin blinked in confusion. "You mean he was on a warship?" "No." Koa shook her head. "He was a warship. They made him organic as an experiment, but forgot to delete his memories when they shut him down. That's why he screams." "And you know this how?" Sarin asked. Koa tilted her head like she was explaining something obvious. "Because I remember being his navigator. I was a soldier, then a captain, then a casualty." Sarin didn't know what to say, so he offered her a snack bar. She took it and continued her explanation as if discussing the weather, memories, and war. "The thing about memory," Koa explained later, "is that sometimes it loops, not in time, but in impact. People forget, then remember too hard." She told Sarin how Haver had been built to win wars, but no one ever taught him how to lose one. So when his war ended, he stayed chained and screaming until something, made enough noise back to hear him. "Why can I see him?" Koa asked once. Sarin shrugged. "Maybe because you listened?" "No," she said quietly. "Because I broke too." The next day, everything went wrong. A fleet arrived, not friendly visitors, but the Interstellar Unity Committee. They'd received word about a potentially weaponized mythological entity and had orders to detain, disassemble, and declassify. Girl was collateral damage. The dragon was just a myth. And myths were messy in courtrooms. But this time, Haver didn't scream. He roared. There are few things the universe agrees are universally bad ideas. Firing weapons at a war dragon who's just remembered who he used to be, while he's near a child who remembers why he mattered, is definitely one of them. The fleet's opening attack hit nothing, literally nothing. The torpedoes struck empty. Space that folded in on itself, then came back inside out. That's when the dragon began to unfold from his prison. Sarin would later try to describe what it looked like when Haver moved, but words failed him. The best he could manage was, it felt like gravity started apologizing. Koa rolled forward in her wheelchair, with no panic, no fear, just quiet authority. "Haver," she said simply. The massive dragon turned to look at her, and in that moment, Sarin saw not a monster, but a soldier recognizing his commanding officer. Koa smiled, the first real smile Sarin had ever seen from her. Permission to engage. The ancient chains shattered like sugar glass, and the galaxy started rewriting itself around them. The final flight, however, didn't fly in any conventional way that poets write about. One moment he was coiled like an ancient riddle in the asteroid's belly, and the next, the chamber was empty. Air imploded with a dull thump, and alarm screamed. As space itself registered the error, Koa was gone too, not teleported or kidnapped, but simply no longer present in any measurable way. 1 second she was there, the next she wasn't. Somewhere on the command deck, a physicist had a nervous breakdown and started demanding the universe be audited for continuity violations. Sarin stood in the crater, or secondary. Chamber B used to exist, now just a vacuum-scarred cavern of twisted stone and sparking cables. The only sound was his helmet filter working overtime to keep up with the oxygen leak in his suit. "Great," he muttered. The child took the warship again. Behind him, Private Lem was still cradling his burrito like a nervous pet. Should we call someone?" Sarin turned, pulling off his cracked helmet. Call who? The Department of Oops? Above them, the battle was already over. The Unity Committee's fleet hung in space like expensive paperweights, their weapons systems offline, their crews trying to figure out what had just happened to the laws of physics. Later, the reports would be filed and classified. The dragon would go back to being a myth, the girl would become a footnote, and forward-listening Post 9 would return to its quiet routine of monitoring empty space. But Sarin knew the truth. Sometimes the universe keeps its best stories in the shadows, told only in the silence between screams and the space, between stars. He looked up at the hole in the asteroid where his ceiling used to be and saw two shapes moving among the distant stars, one small and determined, one vast and finally free, both heading toward whatever adventure awaited them in the infinite dark. Sarin smiled, filed his final report as equipment malfunction, dragon-related, and put in for a transfer. Back to a normal assignment. Some stories, he decided, were worth getting in trouble for. The end.